Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Ferra Knives Vulcan, and that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your collection or your daily carry rotation. Now, this knife did come in from EDC with DBD. He's a dear friend of the channel, but also a personal friend of mine. He has top tier content, really fun guy to watch. Do yourself a favor and go subscribe and check out his videos because if you like me, I guarantee you're going to love him. So this knife was designed in-house by Ferra Monster, and Ferra Monster is their own OEM. They also do OEM work for other companies, whom they won't name, but some people speculate they might even OEM for Best Tech, which is interesting, not confirmed. All right, let's jump into it. So the Vulcan, this knife has really surprised me. Spoiler alert, this is going to get a glowing review. One thing that I love about Ferra Monster is they produce Wii quality knives, maybe just a step under Wii, but they do it for such an affordable rate that it's kind of mind-boggling. So for starters, we've got the speed holes. That just helps keep the knife cool when it's about to overheat. So they're not necessary, but some people like them, don't want to burn their hands. I get it. I was never a huge fan of speed holes, but sometimes they're done tastefully. These aren't the type of speed holes that I'm a fan of, but it's okay. I mean, without those there, the knife might look kind of plain, so I get it. You know, they were being designy. We do have this really nice, I forget the type of fat carbon this is called, a jungle wear might be the name of it. But it looks good and adds an overall kind of primal feeling to this knife. They do have other variants, but I think with the holes and the jungle wear, it kind of, I don't know, harkens back to a more primal time, maybe. But overall, I do enjoy the aesthetic of this. We do have a deep carry milled titanium pocket clip. We do have a spot for lanyards. I like the way this is done. It's, you know, it's not obtrusive. It's not huge. And, you know, it still adds to the style of the knife. So I'm perfectly fine with that. We do have an external block bar relief. We've got the Ferra Monster pivot, which is just kind of like this little kind of arrow. Nothing crazy going on. But overall, it's a unique looking design, but it's not over the top, right? I think they put as much design in here as, you know, I think any more would have been over the top, but I think they've done a good job with this. Let's talk about the ergos. So as far as the ergonomics go, this knife is comfortable. I wear large size gloves. I've got more than enough room. I can hammer fist it pretty easily. Still have some room to spare. I mean, nothing too crazy. I can feel the pocket clip. It's not really a hot spot for me. And I can feel the holes. Part of me wants to line my fingers up with the holes. I don't know why. I don't think that's a normal thing. But overall, this knife is comfortable. You could use it all day, not really have any issues with hot spots. The jimping is semi-functional. The issue is it's not super deep. It's pretty shallow jimping, but it's still good. Like, I judge jimping based on, can I push past it if I want to or not? And this jimping, I can push past it if I want to, but it's got decent grip, right? So you can rely on that. Jumping over to this blade, for me, this is really the star of the show. We have a beautiful belt satin with hand satin flats. I like what they've done up here. I would technically consider this a poon, but it's barely raised higher than the spine. What gives it an aggressive look, though, is that that entire thing's a swedge, right? So it's a swedge that peaks all by itself, and it doesn't have anything to, what would I say? Basically, I'll just say it looks more aggressive because the swedge peaks above the spine, right? Even though it's subtle, it still gives a more aggressive look. We do have a beautiful drop point style blade, and we are rocking a tall flat grind. We do maintain robustness throughout the tip, which means that this is going to be equipped to do your general EDC stuff, right? It's not specialized. It will be slicey, but not as slicey as some, and it will be great for poking. Now, what I love about this thickness is that this is M390. So M390 is very corrosion resistant. It has really good edge retention, but it's not very tough. So by them making the tip more robust and by keeping this as a flat grind, they've increased, just in general, they haven't increased the toughness of the steel, but they've offset the weakness of M390's toughness with geometry. They basically said, okay, it might be M390 and M390 might not be a tough steel, but you know, if you make it 1/4 of an inch, then it's pretty darn tough. Now this, I'm exaggerating, this isn't 1/4 of an inch or anything like that, but basically they said, we understand that M390 has a weakness, and this is how we've chosen to compensate for it, which means you can enjoy the strengths of M390, edge retention, corrosion resistance, and not necessarily have to suffer the weakness of M390 and its toughness. So overall, very, very beautiful blade. Plays off the lights really nicely. I am a huge fan. Now let's talk a little bit about the action. I had to encourage it just a tad, but if we do the 3-6-9 test, which if you don't know, the handle points at 3, the blade points at 6, and then we just rotate it, we're getting to, I'd say about 7:30, almost 8 o'clock, which means the action is, based on my measurement, pretty damn fantastic. Because if I can rotate, ideally I'd want the blade to close at 9 o'clock, meaning that I can just rotate the knife in the air and it'll do all the closing for me. There we go. That was good. So the action on this, as far as the pivot, is dialed in really, really well. It does have a stiffer detent, and if I can show you, I don't know if you can see it, but that detent ball is very proud, right? Which means it seats deeper into the detent hole and gives it a stiffer feeling detent, because you have to overcome basically you have to overcome a more proud detent ball than otherwise. Usually detent balls are, you know, just a hair shorter, meaning the detent overcoming the ball is fairly easy. With this knife, because the detent ball is proud, you get a stiffer detent, and I love it. Very snappy. It's almost like it's similar to having a detent nub, right? Where when you overcome it, it takes more pressure, so the action is snappier, more aggressive. Oh, my bad. And that's what's giving us these incredible acoustics. Now, it is a little bit stiffer, though, you know, so if you like a weak detent, like if you're more of a button lock person, then this might not be for you. But if you're kind of an action snob and you like a stiffer detent, then this is going to be for you. On top of having that more hydraulic close, I mean, terrific. Lock bar access is super easy. They have it scalloped out, so you just get in there, you push. Now, if you barely push it, you can see right here, this is where disengage is about to start. So if you just barely push, you'll get stuck right here, right? Not a big deal. It only happens if you barely push the lock bar. But if you actually engage the lock bar, then it drops shut. Action from the flipper is stupendous. Thumb studs, stupendous. Thumb flick, stupendous. Yeah, overall, this action is terrific. Acoustics are terrific. Really big fan. All right, let's talk about some, oh, almost forgot, sharpening life. So it looks like, right about here. So you build a sharp until about here before you get a smile. I would say that's probably, just guesstimating, maybe like 4 good sharpenings. And if you wanted, you could cut in your own plunge grind, because this engages down here, right? Which means if you wanted, oh, actually, no, my bad. Now that I see it in the light, it's right here. So you'll get, you probably get like 6 sharpenings out of that, depending on how aggressive your angle is. So yeah, you'll get plenty of life out of this. Now, as far as the specs go, we are looking at an overall length of 7.95 inches, a blade length of 3.46 inches, and a blade to handle ratio of 0.77, which is terrific. 0.7 is the minimum. The closer we are to 0.8, the more we have that 50-50 look. And as you can see right here, it looks like we have a ton of blade for the handle. So for me, that's a pass. And if you look down here, we maybe could have squeezed a 1/16 of an inch more. But overall, I think they did a fantastic job. Now for size comparisons, up against the milled aluminum Civivi Brazen, one of the best Civivis ever made. And the Brazen is coming in slightly longer. Then up against the Real Steel Sylph, made slightly shorter because I rolled the tip. And that's coming in, I'd say about an inch shorter. And then one of my favorite budget knives of the year so far, the Miguron Gotov. And that is coming in probably, looks like about 2 inches shorter roughly. It's different for you guys because you guys see it at an angle, just because of the way the camera's positioned. All right. Now, what is the cherry on top right now is that these guys are currently running a sale. That sale is 25% off their knives, and you can stack it with code S7 to get an additional 10% off. So normally this knife retails for $254. Right now you can get it with my discount code at about $172, which is phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. That is a terrific price for getting the quality of knife that you're getting, the materials, the execution of it. 170 is a no-brainer. Absolutely not. I mean, I would act sooner rather than later, because as soon as people like realize that these are on sale, they're going to sell out, right? They already have a problem keeping knives in stock because they sell so quickly, and that's at normal price with a 10% discount, right? But the fact that they've got like a 20-25% discount and it stacks, if you like Ferra Monster, you like this review, you like this knife, and they have a ton of different knives I'll be reviewing shortly. But if you like it, go to ferramonster.com, use my link in the description, use code S7, get an additional 10% off, and you will be rocking this thing for about $170 and some change. You know what I'm saying? So for me, this would be a daily carry. I mean, that's what it's built for. It's definitely a way to have an EDC that's more interesting, something that is designy, but not necessarily a safe queen, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're looking for pure utility, you know, this is $30. It's D2 and aluminum for $30, and it will do your EDC stuff. But if you're looking for something with some personality, with a little spice to it, then the Ferra Monster Valken is a great way to go. Well, what about for you? Is this a daily carry? Is this approaching grail status? Or did it miss the mark for you entirely? I'm really interested to read your thoughts below. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And until the next time, guys, peace.